and what it is about having desired quality of life during a time of discomfort, and a personal mission statement. Who am I going to be in the world? Because by the way, life doesn't always happen the way you want it to. So now you guys are seniors, you're becoming adults. It's not just about what I'm told to do. Now it becomes who do you want to be as a person, right? And what makes the difference, it's not about who you are as a person when things are going your way. It's who you are as a person when things are uncomfortable. That's how you cause your life. That's how you make something happen. It's about who you are during the discomfort. Now, when I was going through 3 months of a high anxiety panic attack, that tested it. There's this poem, The Invitation. Oh, I really, really want it. Shoot. I had it somewhere. I don't have it now. Okay. But anyway, it's called The Invitation by Oriah Mountain Dreamer. She has a line in it saying, who are you going to be, or no, where do you go when all else falls away? That is powerful. I recommend check it out. That is the key to the kingdom. So what I ended up doing was falling back to that. Here's my mission statement. Here's who I want to be. And then it came down to this. What single physical, tangible action can I do in this half hour? Does that make sense? By the way, would that work for you? Like, just give a little nod. I mean, would that be helpful if you're like starting to get nervous or you're struggling? If you know what you want to do, would that be a helpful thought? Yeah. Human. By the way, these are keys to the kingdom, and it took me 12 years of doing this. So, file that. Yeah.
People that have bipolar disorder, can they ever learn to live with their disease without taking medicine?
Good question. The question was, is people with bipolar disorder, can they ever learn to live with their disease without taking medicine? All right. In a nutshell, I don't know. But, here's this. Okay, so let's, is everybody familiar what bipolar disorder is? Yeah, no. Right. So, let's say you have kind of this, we're going to call this comfortable. Now, I'm not going to use the word normal. I'm going to use the word comfortable. Because comfortable, comfortable can be different for different people. Right? Anybody been like an athlete, like that first week when you start training, whatever sport you're going to do, and your body is in pain? Right? Especially that second day afterwards, and you're like, oh my gosh, this hurts so bad. Right? You're going through that. It's very, very uncomfortable. And then a few weeks later, you find you're almost kind of getting used to that discomfort. So that's where you kind of have some discomfort on either side, right? Real energetic, real down. And then you have trouble, and then you have unmanageable. And by the way, a typical human being, let's say they go through and a parent dies and they're going through a divorce and they just lost their job. Like, could you see how someone could find themselves feeling like things are unmanageable? Right? It's just wear through. I take medication. And what I find is that medication is to take the unmanageable and drop it down into basically trouble or difficult. This is lifestyle, and this is choice. If you're diabetic, it's not good to eat a dozen donuts a day, right? It's just not good. Diabetes, all that sugar is more evident. I don't take insulin to be able to keep eating a dozen donuts a day. I mean, you can, but it doesn't help. Make sense? Does that answer your question? So there's a lot of stuff in here, like sleep stuff, drinking water, eating right, kind of having a routine, a schedule. So there's a lot of those life skill things to do to kind of help keep things moving and keep them balanced. Some people will turn around and say, well, I need to take my meds because they want to go from unmanageable into comfortable, and they can get stuck in that. What I've just found is they're bookends to get me here and here. But the rest is life and choice, which is normal. How do I do that without making?
Them look, well, like, how do you, like, explain to somebody else who doesn't know, like, what you're going through, how do you explain it to them in, like, a way that they can understand?
Got it. Very good question. And by the way, the ability to communicate. Does anybody else? I'll talk about that with my diagnosis and explain mental health. But does anybody else find that sometimes it's hard to explain what's going on? Right. Awesome. 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 By the way, is anybody else? Are you guys starting to see how it's just there's a lot of basic, simple similarities that it's not this really, you know? So what I'm finding is this. Is one, communication listening, speaking, and understanding. Okay. Has anybody ever heard of Sun Tzu, The Art of War?
Yes.
Sun Tzu, basically, he's just a Chinese guy who's a general, and he was really famous about being able to do like battlefield stuff. His one thing was, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, your every battle, chances are you'll win. If you know yourself and don't know your enemy, then you have a 50-50 shot. If you don't know yourself and you don't know your enemy, then everything is in peril. So number one is understanding. Like first of all, it's taking time to understand what is it that I'm feeling. And then it's kind of, a lot of times it becomes kind of how do they listen? Because I have to understand what I'm going through first, and then I need to be able to say it in a way that makes sense to other people. Does that help out a little bit? So, like, did you notice how when I talked about my depression, I explained the test taking, the athlete running, and the, right? So my whole thing, what I'm finding is my whole thing is how do I demystify it by matching up what a typical experience is with what I'm feeling, so that way it can do it. And as you can see, it's not this foreign thing. Anyone else? Yeah.
Do you still have episodes of like depression and like bipolar?
Got it. Do I still have episodes with depression, bipolar? Yep. I still have times that I feel exhausted. I still have times that I feel foggy. I still have times when I'm like amped up, ready to go. I still have times where I feel like I'm crawling out of my skin. There's a couple differences though. Number one is I am able to recognize, I understand my own body. I understand kind of where I'm at. Just like if you're going to give a presentation, you're going to come up to the room, you feel that anxiety and stuff, but you have the sense of, okay, here's how I'm going to do this myself and be able to present. So it's that exact same kind of concept. The meds kind of help keep it into a spectrum, and my lifestyle stuff kind of helps me keep it moving. So even though I'm feeling it, I can still keep going. And the other part that I'm going to liken that to is like if you're an athlete, right? Anybody play a sport? Okay. Anybody find that final quarter of the game is different than the first quarter? Right? You're exhausted, you're tired, it's hard to stay focused. Like you're in a different physical state, but you keep going. Why? Because you kind of have this sense on how to do it while you're feeling uncomfortable. Does that answer your question?
Are pills and medications the best treatment, or is there better ways to treat people with mental illness?
Got it. Are pills and medication the best way to treat, or are there other ways to treat? Here's what I would say. Remember, we're all experiencing the imperfect human condition, right? So, and we all want to have a desired quality of life, and we all need skills and tools to accommodate the needs to have a desired quality of life. So, pills don't make decisions for you. Pills are a tool. I find it a very important tool. It's a tool. But it's about living. It's about who are you going to be, understanding kind of what you need to do, and learning those skills. So it's a important part, but it's not, that doesn't do everything. Answer your question? But it's an important part. You look like you really want to talk.
I do.
I'm going to leave. Does anyone, last call? Did you guys have fun? Was it a little bit better than expected?
Copy of your poem.
What's up?
I want a copy of your poem, your story.
Yeah. I've given. There's a couple things. Number one is I have a blog, and I posted. It's on my blog, Move with the Morph, and I actually will put on there. I'm having a foggy day today, and these are the things that I'm doing in the moment to have a desired life while I'm feeling this way, because I think that's important. The thing that I gave teachers my card, and it has my website, my blog on it. So please. Yeah. Check it out. The piece I'm going to ask you guys to hold on to is, do you remember when you asked about stigma? Do you remember when I said the person next to you, diabetes, versus the person next to you went to the hospital because they cut themselves? And do you remember that internal shift that you guys had? And again, I just want to bring you present to that is the stigma. And I'm going to ask for your help. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for your help to, number one, is it's okay that we feel that way automatically. That's human. But I'm going to ask for your help to kind of maybe challenge it a little bit. Does that make sense? So yeah, so if you see it and you feel like you want to tweet or share or anything, feel free. Now I'm going to go leave for my boss. Talking about it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Well, I think I timed it perfectly because now I don't have to do anything.